Hi, everybody. Kelly and I are back with the second and third Blissful vlog. Today, I'm gonna actually, since it's a two-part episode that we're doing, I'm gonna introduce the first episode, which is episode two, Dark Side, and Kelly's gonna be doing Rumor Has It, which is a good episode. I really like to write that one. Um, I chose the song Dark Side because I feel like in every Blissful episode, there's a moment where you get that big or that great grasp of what's going on in the story. So I really wanted um, one scene in particular to have that in this episode, and it was Logan and Chauncey's like big blow up, and I felt like that had the glowing moment that you need in an episode, that every episode needs that good moment. So I'll just jump right in. You jump right back into the story at the doctor's ball, the St. Christopher's doctor's ball, where Ophelia meets Jackie, and she's kind of like she and Chauncey have met already, and they kind of are talking about what Lowell has basically said that Chauncey's going to be the new, or one of the four of the children are going to be the new CEO of the company. So she's kind of freaking out about that and worried about that. And she ends up getting really emotional thinking about it. And she ends up going into like this little private sector of the party. And Jackie follows her. And you get to see this really great bonding moment between the two women. And it's one of those moments where you see that Ophelia loves Jackie and Jackie loves Ophelia, and they are friends. And we really wanted to stress friendship on this series because we see a lot of series where it's like bitch and bitch and you're slapping each other and you're going at it. But we wanted to have both. We wanted to have the bitch, but we wanted to definitely have a moment where people actually connect as people. So I think that really wraps everything in that same up in the tight bow that they connected as women and they are friends as women. Um, on the next scene, I believe it's Max and Lowell. Am I right? Max and Lowell. And Max is like, once again, she's like, absolutely not, Dad. This isn't my life. This isn't my world. I'm an actress. And it's a really cool scene because you get to see Lowell and Max's little dynamic of a relationship that we do get to explore later on. And you get to see that he sees a lot of potential in her and what she does and how she can be the CEO, but does she want it? And which is no, right now she doesn't want it, and but he sees potential in his daughter, um, and he feels like either way she's something special, and we really want that daddy's little girl vibe off that scene. You know that she's his daddy. You know Max has this great relationship with her father, and the next scene, you get to see Hunter. He's the party boy in this scene. As we said, growing up is a big part of this, and I think Hunter was a big partier back in his day, in a way, you know. And he's kind of like the cat. He was not the cat, so to speak. I think he was just like the all-around American boy who was polished. You know what I mean? He was really polished. So I think Hunter drinking a little more is something very interesting. Not to say he's going down an alcoholic path, but he's just saying he relaxed with drinking, you know, for that moment. And rumors, and as the rumors of what was going on, of his wife maybe having a film studio bought just because she's an actress, I don't think it sat well with Hunter. That didn't sit well with Hunter because he wants a wife to be home and to cook and to clean and just be his wife and just spend a lot of time with him. So I don't think that really sat well with him on top of everything. So him drinking and it leads to him revealing that he's married. Him and him and Max are married, and that really kind of leads to a kind of family squabble between Jackie, Lowell, Anderson. They all kind of bicker right around it, and it kind of shows you just a really snap judgment moment of what is going to be coming up of that storyline of them just getting married. It's not going to be an easy thing. The next thing you're gonna see is Zach and Glory Road. I'll just say Glory Road.
I love
It's
it.
like a great way to just introduce them. Just say Glory Road. They're all there. Um, Zach has this kind of thing where he's like, "Oh my God, Ryan, shut up. Brayden, shut up. All of y'all, shut up. Y'all didn't get us a contract. You know, but this guy just came out of the blue and he got us a contract, and it's kind of really he respects what Jackson did for them, and I think um that's something that he wanted to have, and I think they all want to have. So for Jackson just to pop up out the blue and give him a record contract, he's like, "Shut up, complaining about it," and um then we go on and we start feeling like as you start reading, him and Jackson meet up and he finds them, and we get to see kind of some of Zach's insecurities of being a bisexual character. And he mostly identifies, I feel like he mostly identifies himself towards the gay leaning, but he does like women too, you know? So he's just like, I don't want to ruin the group. And like, Jackson does the cool thing, and he's like, dude, I knew who you were beforehand. And it's like really a nice moment. And they kind of move forward from that. Like he closes that chapter right then and there. He knows that his sexuality won't be something that hurts Glory Road. If anything, it can help it. And then I think Danny pops up and Jackson makes some couple corny jokes and introduces Glory Road on stage. And he actually asks her on a date in front of the whole crowd, I believe, the ball. And it just goes to show that they have this really cute new romance blooming. It's like it's just something we're loving writing. It's a really cute little love story. It's not a heavy one. It's like really a special love. It's not a heavy love story. It's a very fun and lighter love story. Um, Kelly, would you like to say anything about that scene?
No, I'll probably touch on it next episode because it kind of
Okay.
follows up next episode. So.
Um, who's next? It's Chauncey. Yay! This is like the favorite scene that we had to write. We had to I was watching a show and I got this scene like where you had to I was watching and I got this thought like, could you imagine having to play two roles in one? Like you're being first off you have to be the political wife, but then you have to be the happy political wife. And that's why I got the idea for this scene, and it kind of grew into a bigger scene when me and Kelly were writing it. We were like, oh, "This is good. This is really good." And,
They get nasty with each other.
we were writing it, and it just she just she saw Chauncey's for his real self in that scene, and I don't think Logan liked what she saw. She saw how she knew how cold Chauncey could be, but she never knew how dark he could be. And I think that's why I chose that song for this episode. And for her to see it, it was like painful, you know. But if you read the scene, you did see that Logan kind of was like, well, I guess, you know, I forgot exactly how she says it because we write so much dialogue.
Very true. We're like dialogue.
We write a lot of dialogue, but she's basically like, karma's a bitch. I think that's her line. Karma's a bitch. So I guess I deserve this. That's the line. And I think she was referring to, if you've read their bios, a little moment that happened with Jackson a long time ago, and might be coming back up to bite everybody in the butt. And I think you get to see a lot of Logan's like self-loathing as a wife and self-loathing of a person that she has to stand there and take this, and she's become the woman that from once was a beauty queen and every man wanted her and she was alluring, to now this woman who can't even get her husband to touch her, and he doesn't even want to be around her and talk to her. And it is a really interesting dynamic, that how cold he gets when he's with her, and how he truly is. Like, you get to see the flip of the dynamic. Would you like to say anything about that one, Kelly?
No,
No.
okay. We covered it.
Okay. The next thing, you get introduced to another main character that was not in the she was not in the pilot, and I'm cheating so hard because I write her and I've created her, and I absolutely adore this character. If you read Aztec Springs by me, then you know I love a good bitch and I love a good bad girl, and I take after a lot of the classic moments of soap, and I love a lot of the classic elements of soap. So when I create a young adult female, more likely she's not going to be a nice girl. Um, and Greer just came out of my mind, and she's one of the characters that I really want fans to take a good notice of. I always tell you I want you guys to watch because I know it's good stuff is coming up. Greer is a schemer, and she's a social climber, and she's everything you want in a bad girl. But she also has a heart, and that's one thing you will get to see with Greer. Like, she has a heart, and she has some deeper issues. She's a very archetype of what old a bitch goddess. I read about bitch goddesses recently, and if anybody knows your soap, she's an old bitch goddess, and she's very cool. And basically, back to the scene, you get to see her coming in her Calvin Klein, and I wrote what she wore because it was supposed to reek of new money. It was supposed to be like, I have money for the first time, and this is all I wanted. It's diamonds and pearls and gold and I read Louboutin heels, and I wanted her to reek of money. And her husband and her come to the ball late, and you get to see her and him talking, and they have a very basic conversation, but Greer wants excitement, and she's kind of bored, and she's like, let's have a baby. Like, let's just have a
Let's
baby.
randomly have a baby.
Let's randomly have a baby. Let's go to Canada, your cabin for the weekend, let's have a baby. And he's like, no, it's kind of like we have a plan. And it leads to Greer feeling it's going to lead to something more. And and then you get to see him kind of make his way to Jackie Ophelia. And we chose to cut the scene the way we did as a way of like you kind of knowing that the scenes are keep going, I guess you'll say, in a way. And they're still talking, and it was moved right along. And you get to the next thing is Selena, and she with her father, or is she with Brayden in this scene?
She's alone. Brandon arrives late.
Okay.
Because he had to go take care of his kid, and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm very late as always." So, and then you usually know what happens from there.
Okay, so Selena is with her father, and she's talking to him, and they're having a little conversation, and she ends up walking around, and she bumps into Logan, and she bumps into Logan and Chauncey, and they have. Is this in this scene?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm like, okay. I'm sorry. And
Brayden just up at that awkward moment.
To Logan and Chauncey, and they have this really awkward moment where Logan believes that Selena is the mistress, not knowing that Ophelia is the mistress. She believes that it's all Selena, and she actually says something really catty to her. And Brayden finally arrives, I believe, right in this scene. He finally arrives, and he hears it, and Selena doesn't set Chauncey straight. And I believe Brayden gets really mad.
He does. He's like, really? It's funny. Anyway.
And she's like, I'm sorry if I offended you, but like those are my family. And I think you get to see a very interesting dynamic between the De La Croix and the Devonshire family right there in that moment. Because Selena feels like they're her family, and although she's not with Chauncey, she still feels a protective urge to him and his family. And I think the next thing is Lowell, and you get to see Lowell and Bliss their tango. Now I wrote this scene, and it was really fun because Bliss is like, I've heard things about you, and he's like, well, rumors are just rumors, you know. And I think this episode really led to the next episode too, with some of the rumor parts in it, and you get to see this like really tangled behavior of Bliss. Like she's like, I believe she says, "How long do you think you're gonna get away from your horrid behavior, Mr. Devonshire?" And you start to see that Bliss has done her research against him, and it's a really interesting moment between the two of them. And then at the end, when Bliss walks away, Lowell calls Simon to get him to find out anything he can about Bliss, which is another little moment that we're going to use later down the line. The next thing is the Kelly hotness of Max and Art. Max and Art have this really great moment where he swoops her away from everybody because the media is pouncing on Max and there's paparazzi everywhere and they take a picture of her, and he swoops her away and they have this really like sensual conversation. Now, one thing about Max and Art, I had envisioned this pairing before we had wrote it on Bliss, and Kelly was like, first off, Kelly didn't really wanted Max, but she didn't know how to take on Max for some of the stuff that Max continues to do in the future. And then she took on Eric, and she's like, I got the con man too. So like,
that's okay.
When we writing them together, I think she got to explore a badder side of her, and you really get to see it in the writing how complex just their first meeting and how nuanced to me of sensuality their first meeting is, which is actually really cool. And the sensualness of how he grabs her and he gets her, and it's just a dark little moment, is very cool to me. And Kelly really pulled the picture that I had of that couple out of my mind, how dark and complex they are. They'll do anything for each other, but they'll do anything to get what they want. And it's a very cool thing that she kind of just took it right from where I was imagining. And the thing ends kind of in a circle. I think the episode ends after this scene, the next scene, in a roundabout kind of way, with Chauncey and Ophelia meeting outside, and they're kissing. I think they kiss, or yeah, they kiss. But it's kind of like a circle effect from the beginning where she's yearning for him and she finally gets it. And it's kind of like you get to mingle through the whole what was going on with Ophelia. Actually, she was missing the man that she absolutely loved. And you kind of get that feeling that she can't get enough of Chauncey, and she'll do anything to have Chauncey, which is really cool. And might be a spoiler. Okay, Kelly, I think it's on you, my dear.
Yes. All right.
Wait. You want to say anything about episode 2? I don't.
Not that I know. I'll cover it in here if I do, and you can interject whenever you want. So episode 3 was Rumour Has It, and the song comes from Adele, and Chris knows I don't like Adele a lot. Which was odd because I picked the song, and I think I was like sitting around listening to it or something like that. Like, this really fits. I like music. Everyone can just deal with that. I like to I like when I'm writing, and I know Chris does this too. When we're both writing, we have our playlist going, our music going, and I think we were discussing the new Adele on Skyfall, and this one when I came across Rumour Has It, and I was like, I hate this song. They overplay it on the radio so much. But it really worked with a lot of the, I guess the triangles and the quad angles we have going on in the first season that pop up. The first scene follows up after the performance of Glory Road at the end, and Jackson asking Danny out. I liked writing this scene. I think you get a good insight to Danny and Jackson as people, where they are now versus where they were in high school. She didn't have money growing up. We make a point, if you've read their bios, that Danny and Braden came from the other side of town, like they're the poor kids. And Jackson has money and he wants to impress her, and one of the things he asks is to sweep her away to New York or whatever. She's like, dude, I have commitments here, and I do think part of that is as an excuse for her, that she's scared. She finally has that thing that she wants, but she's just like, I have other commitments, and he mentions all this stuff he can do, like all this money, and so she challenges him to kind of play it cool in their hometown. And I thought that was interesting. It's he wasn't used to it, and that was good. And then we finally get
grand gestures.
Huh?
He's used to play grand gestures.
And she's just like I'm simple girl. So
yeah.
Like Chris said, it's a fun relationship we're doing with him. It's not like this intense like soulmate thing, I guess. It's more of a first love, like cute romance dating. Like when you're first starting out, you're dating and you're all cute, and
it's really cute. Yeah.
It's a cute thing, and it's not that I can't give away anything else.
No, don't give nothing away.
I really want to though. Okay, forget about all that. And then Greer pops up, and I like that Greer and Danny start having this like little rivalry thing when she pops up, and she like is a childhood friend of Jackson's, and so they start like, she's like, oh, do you remember? And he's like, no, and then she mentions her mom, and he finally remembers her, and this whole time like she's giving Danny the evil eye, and it's just kind of hinted that there might be some animosity there later. And so I think it was very subtle about the song we picked in that scene. It was very, she can't give you what I can or whatever, and it worked very well.
She isn't real.
It's kind of like, I don't know, I can't give away a lot more, so I really want to, but I'm not going to.
Go to the next thing.
Okay. Jackie, Max, Hunter, Lowell. Oh, I got it right. And Anderson. I like this scene because as a mom, I'd be really hurt if Patrick got married and I was not there. And I think Max and Hunter got married because they felt it was the right thing to do because they'd been together for so long. Not because they both wanted to. And I don't know if that will make sense to readers, but from my writing standpoint, that was kind of the point of the scene. That Jackie's really hurt by this. Like, Max is her only daughter, and she really wanted to be there for their wedding. And Max and Hunter were kind of just like, no, we just eloped, and it's all good. And I like that lol. I just did it again.
Wow.
He, okay. But he's just like, Hunter, whatever, grow up, you're in the family now. And Anderson's like, oh my god, what am I going to do? Because I'm running against your son for mayor. And you just get this, like, chaos scene.
It was really fast.
It was really fast, but it was a lot of fun. It showed, like, the influx that the Devonshire family is not perfect. And now they're going to have to deal with this whole new thing of their daughter being married to their son's mayor rival and Jackie's secret hidden, like, almost affair going on. And it was a fun scene, and I liked writing it. And like Chris said, it goes along with rumors. In the pilot, we really established certain things that were going on in their lives, and I think that really followed through into
the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, the first 3 episodes. The next scene is David. I like David. As you will find out, David is the brother of Lowell's arch enemy in this series, and David is different. He doesn't want any part of their feud, and overall he's a good guy. He kind of quit the family business to become a doctor, and part of the reason I liked writing this scene was to really show that even though his brother and the Devonshires don't get along, they'll put aside that difference for the town and the community in the hospital, and I thought that was really important to show. And it also kind of gives you an insight into Greer and David's marriage, I think. David does not like spending his money. He has a trust fund, and he does not want to use it. He does not want to associate with his family's wealth. And so Chris made a point of dressing Greer and all this like rich fancy stuff, and you really get that he doesn't want that. He wants to change lives and make a difference. And I think that's a new dynamic that I don't think I've ever played with on this show, and I don't think you have either. Was the whole wife who's bored at stay at home and she doesn't like have anything, and David's a nice guy though. I feel bad for David.
David's a good guy.
I feel bad for David. Anyway.
He's
David.
The poor guy.
The poor guy, yes. Let's see. The next scene was Chris wrote Logan and Bliss. I really enjoyed this scene. I think you read it. You wrote it when I was sleeping in bed one night. Because normally we sit down, we write the episode together, and we go back and forth. And if we're double playing characters in a scene, one of us will just write it when we have time or whatever. And so I don't think I read this until we published it, because it wasn't done. Anyway, at the end when I came back and I read it, I really liked that we're establishing friendships on the show. I know Chris made a point of that. I can name in my real life some really close friends that I'm close to, and so can Chris, and we really wanted to explore that on the show. Family and friendships are really important in real life, and that's what we really wanted this series to incorporate with all the other soapy goodness or the primetime goodness. We wanted that family and that friendship feel to carry through, and I really liked Logan and Bliss in this scene. It showed Logan is in a really tough place. She is insecure, her husband's having an affair, and Bliss is like, if you need me, I'm here for you. And I was just like, aw, tear, and I almost cried.
It was a girlfriend.
And I almost cried.
Yeah.
But I'm an emotional person anyway.
She's an emotional reader.
I am. I'll cry if it's good. I think, the next scene is Chauncey and his father. I actually really enjoyed writing this. I think it carried on nicely from the first scene in the previous episode where Chauncey's dark side comes out. You realize in this scene Chauncey has some issues left over from his time in Iraq and the war and his issues with his father. Lowell makes a point that he has given Chauncey everything he's ever wanted, only for Chauncey to say no to it, and Chauncey's like, well, yeah, no, Dad. There's all that, but there's your failures too. And I like that we show grown-up kids having that insecurity of not pleasing their parents or not, I guess you should say, acquiring their parents' dreams, if you will. Lowell makes it a point that he bought Chauncey's time in Iraq, that Chauncey never saw the war fund or any of that. And I think Chauncey really resents his dad for part of that, if that makes sense. I think he felt that Lowell protected him so much. And now that he is this grown adult, he has his own dreams and his own aspirations, and he doesn't want any part of the company. They're all brats.
They are.
Minus Rory. Rory's the only one sitting back oh, maybe I'll sneak in there. But most of the other ones are just being brats about this, and I'm just like, and you'll find out more about, I think, Chauncey's time in Iraq later, won't you? Yeah.
There's actually a few characters that are coming on who have, not even coming on their own canvas. John's an Iraq veteran, and Chauncey's an Iraq veteran.
And they were in the same company and stuff, too.
They were in the same, unit and company or something, and you're gonna see something.
It's fun. The next scene is Selena and Brayden, and I like these two. They're so soulmates.
Well,
They're just
they
cute.
have like that. Oh my god, I don't even know a couple like them really, like, but they have that push pull dynamic that's just so damn good.
And I think we touched on it, Chris did a little bit, that it was a quick scene in the last episode where Selena's with her dad and she bumps into Chauncey and everything, and Chauncey and her are really good friends. They used to date, and her father's best friends with Tony. I mean, they're godparents. They are really close friends, and so the family aspect is still there, and Brayden's really insecure about that. Because he comes from such a different world, and he's got a son, and Selena's really afraid of being a mom, and it's just, the timing is never right for them.
Yeah,
and just when you think it is, and it never happens, and I think that's their appeal, though. Like, I don't know. I like the scene.
I just love them. I love them. They're a great couple to write
good.
for. And they're one couple, their scenes are like painful to write. Like I have to, like, she doesn't like Adele, but I listen to Adele when I'm writing.
I take her in small doses. But I liked in this scene too that they kind of talked about it a little, and then they move on to Brayden meeting Tony and Mason for the first time. I think this is the first scene with Mason in it. Mason is currently back from Chicago. He is Tony's son and Selena's brother, and he's also gay. He's in the closet gay. He's not come out to his father yet, and I really liked playing him. I was a little nervous about him at first. Chris finally kind of talked me through some stuff with him. We'll get into that when we do that episode. But I like that he's afraid to come out to his dad. I think a lot of young people are. I know my brother was to my parents, and that was, he was always really afraid that they wouldn't love him or accept him, and I think that's something I really wanted to write. Kids are kids. You love them no matter what. Anyway, that was my insight. Do you have anything for that scene?
I want you guys to pay attention to his location. He came back from Chicago. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Because in the future, Chicago, I'm from Chicago, so I always write Chicago into anything I do somehow. And his location will play a way bigger part in something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't write Utah into it. Utah is pretty boring, so we all know. We have snow. It's kind of shitty. The next scene, I believe, yes, it's Hunter and Max again, and you kind of, no, it's Matt. No, it's Oric. You're right. I'm sorry. It's Oric, and he returns to his condo after the events of the evening, and you find out there's a lot more of the story. He gets a mysterious phone call asking him how things went at the event, and you realize that he is working for someone, and you don't know who, and we kept it a secret.
On purpose.
He and Melissa are working together to infiltrate the Devonshire family, and they're not the only ones. Just put it that way. Everyone's out to get them this season, and I kind of like that. I love mystery, and so when Chris pitched this to me, I was really excited because I like primetime drama. Everyone knows that. It's all I watch on TV. But I like that you get this insight that he is doing this for the money, and it's already starting to put a strain on him and Bliss, if you would. They've been working together a lot, but even like early on, it's putting on a strain into their relationship that he feels drawn to Max, and he's starting to feel guilty about that. And so, as Chris said, Oric is a dark character. I don't really like dark characters. Okay, I do, but I'm not like good at writing them. I'm always like, okay. But anyway, I think I've only written a few dark characters in my past. Jessica, who was like BSC. And then, if you all know Dangerous Dies, I wrote like the serial killer rapist guy, and he was kind of demented. So I don't really count him because he was like crazy. So I rate great people, but Oric is very naughty and very like, hey. Anyway, The next scene was Lowell and his wife, and I love them. I like that they have, from what I've seen, probably the strongest marriage, I would say, on a web series that I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Even though she may be tempted by Anderson and everything, she loves her husband and he loves her. They're just at a place in their marriage where it's changed and they need to find that again. One of the things that when we were planning the first season that was really important was that we both wanted their marriage to stay, I guess you'd say, central to readers, that you can always count on it to raise their children together. They can support each other. And I like that in this, he kind of confesses to her, I want to retire and my kids are being brats about it. And she's like, give it a few days, give it a few days for everything to settle with them and then talk to them about that. And I thought it was a good way to show that despite everything going on with the body popping up and her liaisons, I guess you'd say, with Anderson, that they are still very committed to each other and they're very much so still in love, and that was important to me. The next scene is Anderson and Logan, actually. I like this. I didn't expect this scene until Chris wrote it. I wasn't sure on a lot of Logan's backstory until Chris kind of told me about it when we were actually writing the episode, that Anderson is a really good friend of her family and her older sister Taylor, right?
Yeah. Yes, Taylor.
Yeah, so I like the scene that Anderson tells Logan as she's outside crying that, hey, listen, I'm going to help you through this. I will find out who Chauncey is cheating with and who's hurting you. And I think that opened up a whole can of worms. Let's just put it that way. And as he's telling her all this, she's like, thank you so much. And she's like all emotional. And then Chauncey comes out and puts his card around to his wife because I guess he feels guilty. I don't know. Chauncey just does shit I don't know about when I write him. He's just like, here. He's like, oh, here, I was a jerk like 5 minutes ago. I just fought with my dad.
And I want everybody to know Chauncey, out of all Kelly characters on The Bad Boy, because she plays quite a few of the bad boys now. She plays Derek Chauncey. Out of all the guys, Chauncey is the one that I adore of her the most. She's like perfected her jackass in him. Like, he's a jackass. But he's one of those characters you can't help but to be, oh, I like you. Even though
you're a jackass, I like you.
Prove me over, I like you. And that's what I love about Chauncey.
So he comes out and he hugs his wife and they kind of make up and they're kissing and they leave the ball together. And it just so happened to be that Ophelia is watching them from inside, and so that's the next scene, is that she gets very jealous, so to speak. And I liked writing this ending scene in that despite his wife having an affair and everything, Devin, who's a very busy police officer, actually shows up to her event. I like Devin. He's so getting shafted. But I like writing him. He, yes, he's neglected his wife. Yes, he is a police officer, but he knew it was really important for him to show up to her awards ceremony that his wife is doing for David. And she's actually really surprised to see him there, like, OMG, like, you dropped your job to come here. And he's like, yes, I did, but I have to leave because he gets a call about, some of the test results coming back on the body and a break-in going on, and he's called away from work. And I like that we ended the scene, this episode, with Ophelia alone again. I thought that was really important. She, I think it goes back to the song that, she didn't have anyone at the end. And that's kind of what I played with when I wrote it, when you and I wrote it. I thought it was important to show that not everyone's happy, not everyone's, I think we all put on faces. Yeah, getting what they want. And so anyway, that was episode 3. I rambled a lot. Any input? Go for it.
Was it me? Okay. One thing I absolutely loved about episode 3 was the fact that Ophelia ended up alone, and like she said, we really wanted to play with that aspect of, who's gonna be with who, and we wanna play with it where we have fans caring about it. Like, oh, are they gonna get together? Are they gonna get
Mm-hmm.
together? And you're gonna see more of different aspects of this, how this hurts everyone involved, and it's gonna be really a good storyline. Um, episode 4 is next, right? Just a
Mm-hmm.
Kiss. Um, just a little preview on that episode I can give you guys. You get to meet Audrey, right? Audrey Maltov, right? Is that the
Yes. Audrey and
you get to
Rachel, yeah.
you get to meet Audrey Maltov. You get to meet Dr. Eric Clark, and you've already met Agnes, so you got to meet 3 of our guest stars so far this season, I believe. Have they met Agnes
No.
already? Okay, so you haven't met Agnes. Is Agnes in 3, 4?
I don't think so. I think she's in 6.
6. Okay, well, you're gonna meet 2 of our big guest stars, and I really want to see you guys' response to Audrey and Dr. Clark, because they're really 2 characters that we really like, and we really are starting to take to, I should say, and I hope to see you guys with responses on them. And
Let me make sure.
I think that's it.
I think. And I think the only other character that they're introduced to is Rachel. She makes her appearance in episode. Oh, and Talia too.
Oh, so you get to see a lot of recurring characters, which is that's why we really liked that episode. We liked that episode, I believe.
Oh, and Simon too. They
you
get to
saw
see Simon.
You saw a lot of the different characters, and they all kind of blended.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get to see, as the episodes move forward, you're gonna get to see more of the Atlas Falls community, I should say. So you guys you're gonna have fun with that.
I think that's a wrap. Yay! Okay, I'll press it now.